with, right? The three areas of detox are colon cleanse type thing, which is not what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on the GI tract.
Yeah.
And then there's liver detox, which is important because the liver is filtering the blood and getting rid of all sort of toxic things in the blood, getting rid of chemicals, whether it's sort of accidental exposure to paint fumes or if it's a drug that's in your system, that's how it gets rid of it. But we're actually viewing detoxification more from the purification angle, from the cellular aging level. So starting from there, let me back up now. Just ageLOC strategy is about targeting the sources of aging, right?
Yes.
So it's not the signs and symptoms, but the sources. It's about aging. We then really, when you go upstream as far as you can go, it's really the genetic level. The genes are in the nucleus. They have all the recipe books of life. There's 25,000 genes, and basically there you have the recipe to build and maintain the human body. Now, if you look at that from the aging perspective, the first place that we went inside was, as energy levels decline as you age, it seems logical then to look at gene expression associated with aging of the mitochondria. So we identified the genes that create and to build and maintain the mitochondria. There are about 1,000 of them. And then we identified the ones that change as you age.
Yes.
So we identified then, looking at different tissues, heart, muscle, brain, which are the genes that change robustly as you age. We identified that youth gene cluster. Then, finding those genes, screen for ingredients that can reset them to a youthful pattern. So that is how we solve the energy crisis
Vitality,
as you age, right? So now, where do we move from here? When it comes to the aging cell, something that is just as important is the decisions that a cell has to make every day about what needs to be replaced. Your cell is like a city. There's all sorts of metabolism going on. It's sort of like having smokestacks and production of garbage. You've got buildings that get old that need to be replaced. So the cell has to first identify old proteins or old organelles, things that need to be replaced. It has to tag them. And then there's specific equipment, the renewal and detoxification systems, that then eat that and get rid of it in a safe way.
Okay.
So there are genes that control that entire process. We identified the genes that change with aging.
That change, same way.
The same approach.
Okay.
Screen for ingredients that then reset those genes to a more youthful pattern. So that's the renewal story. You know, as you age, your body actually becomes less able to get rid of all the toxins. That system starts to slow down, just the same way that your energy slows down. Now, the thing is, now we have the 1-2 punch. We've got cellular energy, cellular renewal, and they actually affect each other more than most people realize. You need energy to drive the cleaning processes. It's sort of like you've got a vacuum cleaner, you've got to plug it into the power source, right? And if you don't have energy, you can't have cleansing and purification. If you don't have cleansing and purification, eventually it's going to clog the sewers to the point where you don't have efficient energy production. So they work very closely together, and as you age, it's a very close downward spiral. So we are helping the cells to behave young. If you approach aging at a cellular level, as long as all the cells are behaving in a young fashion, then your body is behaving in a more youthful fashion.
And then where is it excreted? Urine?
So actually a lot of it's recycled. The body is amazing. So let's say it finds a protein that needs to be replaced. The protein is no longer working. Enzyme has broken apart. The cell has to be able to identify it, tag it. It goes through a process called the proteasome. It's sort of like a cylinder. It breaks it down. So now you have the amino acids, and then they're recycled into new proteins.
Okay.
So if it's working properly, it's actually a very well-maintained recycling plant. Certain things it can't recycle are then sent to the blood and recycled through the liver.
Okay. Wow. All right. I learned a lot there. And this is just everything. It doesn't keep the kidneys, the lungs.
You can imagine that if at a cellular level things are behaving properly, then there's going to be less burden on the cell, and also less things that are being emptied into the blood and putting a stress and a strain on the kidneys and the liver. So it does affect system-wide, but it has to start at the cellular level.
Although
cellular versus organ cleansing.
Right, yeah, because the cells are essentially the organs, which are essentially the body. Yeah, so that's what we mean by the ageLOC approach is at the source.
At the source,
yeah.
And you touched on it. The question I got was, how's this different from colonic gastrointestinal tract when you just detox at that level? That's just cleaning out the pipes,
it's
right?
It's important to have clean GI tract,
Yeah.
right? Because it does affect the rest of the body.
Yeah.
That's why we have phytonutrients in the life pack. It's why we encourage people to have a diet that's plant-based and healthy, because that's sort of where it starts, is what goes in.
Yeah.
Right? It is a slightly different story though, but ultimately, yeah, that's upstream too, because what the cells get is really originating in what the GI gets.
That's where it
So
starts.
it's an important part of the story, but it's not the story we're telling here with aging. We're sort of assuming now we have a base of people that are taking life pack, they have good nutrition,
Yeah.
they are somewhat cognizant of things they need to do for a healthy diet.
Wellness.
So now we're talking about fine-tuning the aging process. And it's important, some people ask, well, is this all I need? And I have to keep reiterating that all of the gene expression processes, all of the machineries that drive opening that recipe book of the genes and expressing or creating the product of that recipe, the food, whatever it is, those are all driven by enzymic processes, and they are dependent upon basic micronutrition.
Life
So
pack.
if you don't have the micronutrients, then the cellular or the DNA expression machinery can't work properly.
Wow,
So
okay.
it really is the foundation.
Life
That's
pack.
the foundation.
Okay.
Life pack, good nutrition. Then you build on that ageLOC,
And could you talk about...
which is vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, right?
So we have to stay on life.
Yeah, the people, it's interesting. We had a bunch of people try our Vitality, right? And these are mostly distributors that we had tried it out on. So our first approach at looking at cellular energy, we sent the product to our distributors, mostly team elites, and they all said, this is spectacular. Then when they started to sell it, they found that some people didn't find the same effect.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, a lot of the people that they were selling it to, that was the first product they'd ever encountered. They didn't have a foundation of good nutrition, and so it didn't work as well.
That answers a lot of questions.
Actually, I stopped taking the life pack for a while to see what happened, and then I started taking the Vitality. And Vitality worked straight away incredibly well for me. But when I started getting back onto the life pack, it was working even a lot better. I was having even higher energy levels, so there was no doubt about it.
Yep.
Well, and you can
That's
measure
right.
that with the biophotonic scanner.
Absolutely.
You'll definitely get a different score when you do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, it affects the score.
Okay, so it's not, the thing that will affect the score most dramatically is carotenoids. Because
Sure.
that's what it's measuring.
Yes.
Other antioxidants, actually, we understand now, do affect the scanner score because they conserve the carotenoids.
Okay.
And we have preliminary evidence that Vitality, for example, does actually increase the scanner score somewhat. Not like a life pack,
Yeah.
but you can see that it's having a carotenoid preservation effect, because actually if you have a more efficient mitochondrion, then you have less metabolic waste. The metabolic waste, really the byproduct of an inefficient mitochondrion, is free radicals.
Yep.
So, detuning or retuning a mitochondria so that it's acting more efficiently means that you're producing more energy for the same amount of fuel and less of a metabolic byproduct, toxic byproduct.
I haven't seen R2 yet. Can you discuss the ingredients?
Yeah, so for the US, there's people from different areas here, but again, this is not a complex formula. Having screened a lot of ingredients to see which ones reset the cellular detoxification and purification pathway, we found just a handful of ingredients. The ones that we were led to formulate in the US were a particular extract of grapeseed,
Okay.
which contains polyphenols and things that do seem to affect gene expression.
Okay.
The other is a broccoli extract.
Oh.
A particular, in the US, a broccoli seed extract, actually.
Seed.
Yes, a broccoli seed extract.
Okay.
So the floret, the broccoli grows, and then you have this floret that grows a bit yellow, and the seeds are in those flowers. So normally we eat the flowers,
Yeah.
the seeds come a little bit later. So it seems that the extract of those seeds and the broccoli then have a potent effect on gene expression. And then the other ingredient is a blood orange extract. So this is a particular species of orange that is actually bright red and is very rich in certain polyphenols. That's
Wow.
quite different to a normal orange.
Yeah.
Called a blood orange or a red orange.
Yeah.
And that extract is also part of the formula. So those three ingredients are having a really nice resetting effect.
Wow. Can we ask, what are you working on now? What's next in the pipeline? I heard that there's... sorry.
Well, I don't know how much I can say. All I can tell you is that it's really exciting.
Oh, can't be true.
Did you see the stock today?
I know, they're record levels.
Do you know why?
50?
Because we're doing real good.
No, you guys bought LifeGen.
Yeah, LifeGen, the purchase.
Right, yeah, we have a letter of intent to purchase LifeGen. So we work so well with those scientists at LifeGen. They're really like part of our team. So it just seems really logical to sort of have a closer handshake with that team and have them as part of us.
And
So,
owning that, does that give us exclusivity?